Hello, horse girls and guys. Welcome back. If you are watching this on YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the whole lighting situation. It's a really weird time of day, and I decided to move back to the floor today. But the window is like shining some weird shadows, and hopefully this camera situation isn't too bad. I left my tripod out in the shed yesterday while I was working on some furniture, so I forgot to grab it. But I assume most of you are just listening while you're doing other things and not really watching, so hopefully it's not a big deal. But yeah, welcome back to this week's episode. We have some stories today, and I actually wanted to incorporate a different I don't know if you want to call it like a segment, but a different type of story from Reddit today. I found some Am I the Asshole ones, and if you guys don't know what that is, a lot of people, like a crazy amount of people, go to Reddit to ask the people of Reddit if they're an asshole in the situation that they are in. Let's see. Is this my saved stuff? No. Here. All right, I gotta find the stuff. So I saved some Am I the Asshole stories on here so we can read those and kind of think about it. I have quite a few. I don't know if we'll get to all of them today, but I actually, to start out, have a situation myself that I'm interested in your guys' opinion on. This is kind of an Am I the Asshole situation. In my own life, I am currently going through this. So yeah, let's set the scene here. Me and my boyfriend, Thomas, have been together for over 2 years now. I moved in with him maybe 6 months after we started dating, which I know a little bit soon, but I've lived here ever since. So yeah, his ex-girlfriend moved out before I moved in. So it's been over 2 years since she has lived here. Okay. She does this thing every once in a while where she will just decide that she wants something of hers that she left here, which isn't very much because a lot of her stuff that she didn't come get after like a few months, I gave to Goodwill or I threw away because it was left here. So anything that like we still would have, or you know, that Thomas wanted to keep, that is here. Like sometimes she'll just get a wild hair and she'll remember something that she left here and just decide that she needs to come get it. And so she's done it a couple of different times, and the first time was like not a big deal. She left some horse canvas here and I had the same exact horse canvas, so I was like, whatever, just give it back to her, I guess. So she even came out here and we talked a little bit. I had Grace here at the time, one of my old horses, and you know, I don't have any beef with her. So yeah, I like showed her Grace and we talked about the horses and whatever. And then I think she's done it a couple other times where she's been like, yeah, I need this back. And so me and Thomas have talked about it a couple times where like, if she keeps doing this, like it's gonna be a no. The answer is no. You moved out X amount of months ago. Anything that was left here, technically, like according to landlord laws or whatever, anything that's left after 30 days is considered abandoned property. And Thomas does own this house. So, I mean, if he wanted to pull that card, he could. But anything that was left here after so many months, like, was abandoned. It's no longer yours. You're not just going to come back whenever you want for whatever you want. And it's obviously not that important if you've gone this long without it. Our house is not a storage unit, basically, is our point. And so if you want it, you should have came and got it a long time ago. Like, yeah, so that's our stance on it. And she just recently messaged him yesterday. She actually messaged me as well. And it's about this horse puzzle. Like, you know how some people do these puzzles and then they glue them and put them in a frame? So that's what she wants. It hangs in our bedroom. I'm looking at it right now on the wall. And it's one of those things that I thought Thomas liked it, so I never got rid of it. Apparently he doesn't. But she wants it back. She texted him yesterday, and she texted me as well, asking for us to meet her in town on Saturday to get it back. And Thomas's response to her was, if you want it back, you can pay me $10 a month for every month that you've left it here as a storage fee, because my house is not a storage unit. It's not yours anymore. And I'm tired of holding on to your shit just for you to come back whenever you feel is necessary to come get it. And her response was like, you must be on drugs if you think that I'm gonna pay you for something that's mine. And I think he said to her, like, if it was yours, then you should have came and got it 2 years ago, right? Like, this has been 2 years, over 2 years that she has not lived here, that she left this puzzle picture here, and now all of a sudden she decides it's hers again and she wants to come back for it. So she said something snotty like, I'm gonna be in town on Saturday, so you can meet me somewhere for it. And so he was telling his coworkers about this, and they all thought that he was being an asshole the other day. And you know, he told me that his coworkers thinks he's being an asshole, and I was like, you're not being an asshole. Like, they all, I don't think he mentioned to them that she's done this several other times, but I was like, no, anything that she left here over 2 years ago is not hers anymore. And if she wanted it that badly, then she should have taken it with her. Honestly, that's my stance on it. So if she wants to throw a fit, we did change all the locks, because she would come in and just like show up when nobody was home and just take whatever she wanted. So Thomas changed the locks, so she can't get in the house. But on Saturday, we will not be home most of the day, so I am taking that thing, if she doesn't want to pay Thomas for it, I'm taking that thing straight to Goodwill. If she's not gonna drop it or, pay him or whatever, I'm sure she's not going to pay him. But if she's not going to drop the situation, I'm taking that thing straight to Goodwill, and I'm locking all the doors in the house so that she can't walk in here. And yeah, that's my situation. So what do you guys think? Are we being assholes? Because I don't think we are. She has been well overdue. She's married and has a kid now with somebody else. She lives, I don't know, an hour from here. And it's not our responsibility to babysit her stuff. If she wanted it back, then she should have taken it with her 2 years ago. So, yeah, that's what's going on. But let me know what you think down in the comment section. And let's go ahead and get into the actual Reddit stories of today. I think I have several Am I the Asshole ones, so let's start with those. Okay, so the first one I'm seeing is called, Am I the Asshole for Making Several Horse Riders Pick Up Their Horse's Poop? Okay, this is a long one, so as always, I apologize if I don't read very well. I'm still getting in the practice of it, and I think I'm getting better, but let's just go ahead and start. My girlfriend thinks I'm being an asshole, so that is why I'm asking. I'm a 26-year-old male, and the other people involved are anywhere from 16 to 50. I live in an area with a lot of horse riders. It is frankly rather annoying, as I honestly don't think there are many people as inconsiderate as horse people. They generally use dog walk areas, the beach, the walk routes, or bicycle lanes as routes to ride their horses, resulting in horse poop everywhere, literally everywhere. And that is despite the overabundance of horse paths in my area. I'd go as far as to say there are more horse paths than walking paths. Now, I own a small home with a sizable garden attached to a woodland area, part of which is also mine. We are not allowed to place fences to allow wildlife to freely roam the area. Now, the wooded area is not very densely wooded, and as a result, it is often used by locals as a dog walking area. Kids play there a lot, and unfortunately, horse riders use it as a quick/scenic route to get to the nearby beach. Now, as a result of this, homeowners like myself like myself, have to deal with a lot of lost people appearing in our yards, despite the ample signs stating it's private property. That leads us to what this is about. Now, I tend to come home from work and find random horse crap in my yard. I have spoken to a bunch of riders that I've caught in the act. It is frustrating and frankly rather rude. And 2 weeks ago, I caught a bunch in the act once again. I had spoken to them twice before. They appeared from the wooded area into my yard. 2 of the horses left a giant pile of crap, and I went outside to speak to them. Now, after a bit of an argument with the 5 horse riders, they apologized and wanted to ride off, but I was like, F this, I'm not cleaning this up again, and I essentially told them they either take the horse poop with them or I'm going to call the cops for trespassing since I'm sick of it. Eventually, 3 of them got off and asked for bags and a shovel. I said it ain't my problem how they get it out of here as long as they do, and went inside as I had to get to work. Well, I later found out that instead of going back to their stable, grabbing a bag and a shovel and cleaning up the horse crap, these morons, special people, literally picked up the poop and put it in a backpack owned by one of the riders. Turns out my girlfriend is friends with one of these riders, specifically the poop backpack one, and the girl in question complained to my girlfriend. My girlfriend chewed into me about being a petty asshole, and I had a laughing fit. Regardless, I decided to post here and ask strangers whether I'm the asshole. Okay, so the overall vote on this one is not the asshole. And to be honest, I'll agree. I would agree that this guy is not being an asshole. Clearly, he has dealt with this for a while and he has tolerated it for a while. And I will say it's one of my personal pet peeves when we go to parks. Like, I trail ride a lot. If you guys don't watch my vlogs, I trail ride all over the place. And it's one of my pet peeves when paths are marked specifically for hikers or they're marked no horses and people ride their horses on them anyways. Now, I was young at one time and I wanted to do that and I thought it was boring that my friends didn't want to. But now that I'm older, I understand the fact that if us equestrians want to break the rules or just be inconsiderate and be rude, then places are going to stop allowing horses altogether. There's already, like, most of the state parks, places, parks owned by the county, a lot of places already don't allow horses specifically for this reason, because they don't want to clean up after them. It's really irritating for hikers to have to step and walk around horse poop in general. If they can stick to the paths that they know that horses aren't allowed on, they can avoid that. Now, if they want to hike on the horse accessible paths, that's their own thing. But horse poop is not just like a pile of dog poop, right? I'm one of those people that I'm pretty bad about picking up my dog's poop. I know it drives people nuts. I'm just bad about it because it's like, my dog growing up was like 20 pounds and he literally left a turd the size of my thumb most of the time. But a pile of horse crap, like, if you step in that, like, I can understand how that would really irritate people. I'm used to it personally, but for the average person wearing their nice expensive pair of hiking boots to step in a pile of horse shit, that's annoying. And that's really, really rude and inconsiderate to leave on bike paths, on sidewalks, etc. Now, in these wooded areas, I can understand how, like, nobody wants to get off. Like, in a wooded area like that, it would be less of a big deal. But if these people are riding on private property and they're leaving piles of horse shit in people's yards for their dogs to get into, etc., yeah, I don't think this guy's being an asshole either. I would only tolerate it so far, and I think that it's our job as equestrians that if we want to continue to be able to take our horses everywhere, we need to be considerate of others. Horses don't have to be allowed everywhere, so if we're going to take them places, do it right. And I'm not saying that, like, these people obviously were not expecting to clean up their horse's poop, so they didn't have anything. I think putting it in a backpack is really weird. Sounds like this guy wasn't expecting them to clean it up right that minute. But just stay off of those areas if you don't want to clean up your horse's poop. If you are on a hiking trail or something, if your horse poops, get off and just kick it off to the side, kick it off the trail. We did that several times when I would trail ride with a group, and most of the time your horse poops 2 or 3 times. You might have to get off 2 or 3 times, kick it off to the side and whatever. But if they're leaving it on these paved bike trails, on the sidewalks, etc., in people's yards, just don't ride your horses there. That is absolutely incredibly rude. So I would agree that this guy is not the asshole. Okay, moving on to the next one. Am I the asshole for telling my wife that owning a horse on rental property isn't the greatest idea? Me and my wife currently live in a rental house in the country. She has had horses most of her life until moving out of her parents' house. I would love to have one again, but I don't feel comfortable with that right now because of finances. In my opinion, putting one on rental property is never a good idea, and a year ago, we both agreed we didn't want any livestock until we owned property. Recently, someone offered her a horse for free, and she's already accepted because she can't be happy without one. I work full-time and can cover most of our bills, but not all of them as it is. She is a full-time student and works part-time when she can. She insists it's not fair for her to not have a horse when I have a truck I was wanting for years. No, it wasn't necessarily a need, but we do use it fairly regularly for its intended purpose. My point was that vehicles and horses are very different because if a truck breaks, you can park it and not have to feed it. And most people have vehicle payments regardless of what you drive. Horses are exclusively an extra expense. If they need a vet, you have a moral obligation to take care of them ASAP. I'm not under the impression I'm 100% right in this scenario, but there's a fleet of women to tell me I'm an asshole and tell me what an asshole I am if I say anything contrary. Just looking for perspective. All right, I want to read some comments on this one. First comment says, not the asshole. If she needs a horse in her life to be happy, she should volunteer at a horse farm, not saddle you with an extra expense when you are already strapped financially. Let's see. Exactly. She'd be better off finding a barn to do lessons. She might even get a discount for helping with chores. Heck, my old barn hired people for morning and night chores. Not the asshole. I was anxious and about even getting a dog before I owned a home because rentals can kick you out at any time and you have to find another rental that allows pets. I understand her feeling like she needs to jump on this opportunity for a free horse, like she's getting a deal, but you're right that the free horse is going to cost you a lot. I would just be gentle on how you approach it. She obviously misses having a horse, but it definitely doesn't make you an asshole. Okay. So personally, my opinion is I don't think he's being an asshole either. As somebody that has always had horses in my life too, I can understand, I can sympathize with her on really missing having that hobby or having that, connection with a horse and being able to go out and just brush your horse and spend time with it. And it's free. So obviously I wouldn't be able to say no. But this guy seems to definitely have the right idea. He seems to be thinking more practically than needs versus wants, and letting the wants winning. As far as the comment about having a pet in a rental, I completely agree with that as well. It is really, really hard to have an animal at all when you don't own your own property. I was lucky enough to, when I rented, to have a landlord that allowed pets, and so I was able to keep my pets. But a lot of places don't. A lot of places don't at all. And I would honestly, it would be wise for this girl to contact their landlord, because even though they're living on an acreage, my best friend lives on an acreage, and her landlord won't let her bring her horses home. And I understand why. I mean, horses are hard on the the ground. I mean, this guy might not want his ground tore up by horses. He might not want it grazed down. He might not want fence to be put in. And if these people leave, if they don't take the fence out, then he's stuck with it. All those scenarios. I mean, landlords, even though the animal is outside, still a lot of times just don't want animals on the property in general. And what happens if these people leave and they just don't even take the horse? Then this landlord's stuck with a horse. They have to think about it in the landlord's, perspective as well. But as far as the boyfriend, I think he is thinking practically. I don't think he's being an asshole. He just wants to make sure that their asses are covered, basically, if they have to move out. And he doesn't want to get stuck with the extra expenses either. I know I was talking about Thomas's ex-girlfriend earlier, but I'm going to bring her up again. She was never allowed to have a horse here. She wanted horses, and Thomas would never let her have one. And so when we got together, she, threw a fit about it. And the reason Thomas never let her have a horse out here was because he would get stuck taking care of it. And he already knew that because she just wasn't one to do a lot of manual labor. So he knew he would get stuck taking care of it. He would get stuck feeding it. And this guy kind of seems like he is in the same headset where he doesn't want to get stuck paying for it because his girlfriend already only works part-time and they share expenses. So I totally understand where he's coming from. I don't think he's being an asshole about it. I think he just needs to sit down with his girlfriend or his wife and have a practical conversation about it. Maybe she could have this horse if she agrees to board it somewhere, not bring it home, because obviously home isn't a reliable or a guaranteed living space. And if she can afford to board it somewhere, then there you go, problem solved. Nobody has to feed it and she just pays for it to be boarded. But yeah, I would agree, not the asshole. All right, this next one is called, Am I the asshole for not letting the neighbor kid ride my horse? I, 24 female, had 4 horses. 1 retired competition horse that I love with my whole heart. 2 current competition horses. 3 my breeding stud. 1 current competition horse. 3 my breeding stud. 4 extra horse for my family and friends to ride. My neighbor, 12 female, used to come ride the extra horse. After I could trust her to be safe around the barn, she was allowed to come ride whenever she wanted. She would often come spend time with the extra horse, riding or just cleaning out his stall. When I got the great opportunity to buy a mare that would not only move me up in competition level, but would be an excellent match for my stud to get my name out in the performance horse world as a breeder. The problem is I had to sell the extra horse to afford the mare. I offered him first to the neighbors since the girl was so bonded to him, but they declined. I told them they were welcome to keep him at my house for free. They just had to provide feed, but they didn't want to do that. I tried to make it work by keeping all 5, but I couldn't afford it with the cost of feed. I tried to let the neighbor girl ride my current competition horse, but she's still learning and let him get away with some problem behaviors that threw off my last competition score. The new horse and I aren't ready to compete yet, as we're both working on getting in sync, so I still need the current competition horse to be functional. The stud is way too much horse for her, and my retired horse is only for littles. My 8-year-old nephew is even getting to the point he rides him harder than he should now. That horse has earned his retirement. So I told her and her parents that until my new competition horse is ready, she just can't come ride anymore. She's welcome to spend time with them, but I don't want her on the horse. They called me an asshole for taking away her only source of joy, when they are just horses, and she never expected me to actually sell the other horse. They were there the day he was sold, and I even gave them one last chance before he was loaded onto the trailer to buy him. I told them that it would probably just be the winter off and she could probably start riding again in 6 months, but right now I don't want to risk my standings. I thought about doing lessons on the current competition horse, so I was there and could teach her how to correct the problem behaviors, but our schedules don't match up. She is devastated and her parents are trashing my name. I feel like an asshole, but I also feel like I've tried everything to let her ride. So am I the asshole? Let's see. First comment, not the asshole. You offered the horse she liked to her family, but they declined the offer. Also, you know what's best for your horses and the people who want to be close to them. So I don't understand why they would do that when you're obviously the one who actually knows about that sort of stuff and actively protected their daughter and your horses. Don't worry, they're the asshole. Not the asshole. They're your horses and you let the kid ride for fun. But if the horses or the cost of keeping them prevents you from providing that fun, then it's over. Also, if it negatively affects training or if there's a chance the kid could get hurt, don't do it. You know they'd have no problem suing you if the kid got hurt. Not the asshole. You're so generous here. They can pay for their own horse rides if it's really the girl's only enjoyment. Yeah, so I have to agree with the comments here. I feel like if this is really this girl's only source of enjoyment, they can pay to let her take lessons somewhere. But the thing that drives me nuts about the horse world is like everybody thinks that they are entitled to your animals or entitled to something from you involving your animals. It would drive me insane when my mom used to like ask me if her coworker's daughter could come out and ride the horses, and I would tell her, yeah, if they pay $35 for a lesson like I charge people. And she'd be like, oh, really? You can't just let them come out? And I'd tell her, no, Mom, like this is my business. I need to do what's best for my business and my horses. And if I just start giving out discounts to everybody, then everybody thinks that their kid should just come out and ride for free. And it sounds like this girl is kind of in the same situation where just because she did do a generous thing to her neighbor girl, now the neighbors think that they're just entitled to ride her horses and whichever horse she wants to ride whenever she wants. And that's not how it works. They're not your horses. And like somebody in the comments had mentioned, if this girl gets hurt, like they're going to be the first ones to jump on her. Obviously, they're trashing her name already. So it wouldn't surprise me if their daughter got hurt and they started trashing her name because, you know, she let her ride this horse that was too much for their daughter. So I don't think this girl's being an asshole. They're her horses. She's entitled to do whatever she wants with them and let whoever ride them she wants. So it's, you know, it sucks that like she had to sell that horse that the girl really liked, but you know, like it says, she gave them ample opportunity to buy the horse and they didn't want to. And as far as them not thinking she'd actually sell the horse, well, that's their own fault. I mean, it's not her fault that the neighbors were stupid and didn't take her seriously. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I don't think she's the asshole here. Okay. Okay, next one is called, am I the asshole for getting mad at my boyfriend for his reaction after I fell off my horse? Boyfriend and I are both 22. I'm an equestrian. I ride hunter jumpers. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, just think about those horseback riders with the tall boots, tight pants, and blue jackets who jump there with their horses. For context with this story, no other women's sport besides maybe volleyball worries as much about underwear choice as we do. Riding breeches pants are typically skin tight. It helps keep things from snagging on the saddle, but tight pocketless pants don't leave much to the imagination. Okay, so with that out of the way, I was recently competing in a show and brought the boyfriend along. Long story short, I totally ate shit at the 6th jump during a medal round, so think of them like finals, which just so happened to be over a water feature. Oh, she added a picture. I totally mistimed the previous jump and knew it was coming. Not the first time I've fallen at a show, and normally I get up, brush myself off and laugh, but it was hella embarrassing. White breeches and water definitely don't mix for obvious reasons. I know where this is going. And all of my riding underwear was in the laundry, forcing me to pull out a balled up pair of green undies with "dad ass" written across the back. Don't even remember buying them. But anyway, yeah. Was quite a show for everybody on the walk of shame off the course. So I walk back to the stable area and my boyfriend follows. As I'm wiping off my jacket, he says, "At least you're wearing cute panties today," and pats my butt. It's not uncommon for him to make little jokes like that, but I absolutely went off on him. For one thing, I clearly wasn't in the mood, like I was already embarrassed, and two, I didn't do anything to indicate I wanted to be touched like that. He replied, "Babe, calm down, it's just underwear," and led to this giant fight. We still haven't talked about it, not letting him come to any of my horse shows in the near future. So Reddit, am I the asshole here? I probably should have taken this remark in good humor, but I was clearly embarrassed and pissed off. Okay, we're going to the comments. First comment, you're the asshole. So he tried to lighten the mood and you decided to go off on him for no other reason than you're embarrassed? Grow up. You know you would probably make jokes at his expense if something similar were to happen to him. Am I wrong? You're the asshole. You projected your embarrassment onto your boyfriend who was A, at the show, OMG, do you realize how lucky you are? And B, trying to make light of this difficult situation. Apologize, tell him that you'd like him to interact if that happens again, and move on. Why on earth didn't you use the B side of an appropriate pair? Soft, you're the asshole. He was trying to lighten the mood because he knew you were upset and embarrassed. His response was in good fun and probably a little bit of a coping mechanism. Do you have any idea how scary it is to watch a loved one get thrown off a horse? To many of my friends who have been hospitalized by their horses, laughing when you walk away is healthier than dwelling on it. Also an ESH, I don't know what that means. Until you banned him from attending. What the WTF? Going off on him got the point across. You can't laugh at yourself. Excluding him from being a part of something that's important to you will only cause a rift. Lighten up, or this relationship is doomed. Okay, so the overall vote on this one was asshole. And I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence if I want to call her an asshole. I feel like she overreacted for sure. But I can understand if she just fell off her horse. She's soaking wet. Obviously, she's got dead ass written across her butt. And, you know, my boyfriend, Thomas, makes comments like this all the time at the worst times. And I just roll my eyes or give him the death glare because it irritates me. But I'm also grown up enough to where I can brush it off and ignore him, because I know that throwing a tantrum is just going to cause a fight. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think she overreacted and she should apologize for losing her temper because she was frustrated. And I think that is a sign of growth when you can admit that you were frustrated and you acted out of anger. As far as the boyfriend, he should probably learn when the right time to make those comments are and when isn't the right time. But like the comment said, he obviously was just out of good heart. He was just trying to lighten the mood and make a joke, and it wasn't that big of a deal in my opinion. So I do think that she should apologize. And definitely don't ban him from coming to all your stuff. Like, I agree with the one girl or one person that says, do you realize how lucky you are? Because that's a true statement. Like, it is nice to have a partner that supports you in general, so don't ban him from coming to your stuff. All right, moving on. Am I the asshole for refusing to sell my horse? Me, 24 female, and my boyfriend, 26, have been dating for around 9 months. I've been riding horses since about 4 years old when I started taking lessons. When I was 10, I started helping out this girl at the stable with her horse, Lady. At 12, she told her she had to sell due to time/interest and asked me and my parents if we wanted to buy Lady. Luckily for me, my parents were able to buy her, and she's been mine ever since. She's my bestest friend, and I love her a lot. When I started to date my boyfriend, I was very honest with the fact that my horse takes a lot of time, and he was fine with this. When I was single, I could spend like 3 to 4 hours a day in the stable. But as we started dating, I cut this down to about 3 hours every other day, as this is roughly how long it takes me to do all of the cleaning / preparing food / riding. Also, most of my friends are at the stable, which obviously means this is social for me. The other days I would not ride and try to spend less time talking, which would make it about an hour. After 6 months, he told me I spent too much time at the stable and I should prioritize my relationship more. And somehow his family got involved, saying it was strange to prioritize the way I did. I wasn't comfortable with this, but I'm a bit of a pushover, so I agreed. At first, this meant cutting down time at the stable, but it has evolved into cutting down riding days. Now I ride about 2 days a week, and the rest I'm simply there to do basics. I do all of this as quickly as I can, otherwise I know he'll be annoyed and pissed off for days and give me the silent treatment. I know my horse isn't really suffering from not being ridden as often as I did before, but I still feel guilty and I'm always rushing around her. Then last night he told me that it was time to sell Lady. I laughed at him and asked if he was serious. He was. I told him no, and he said I needed to start prioritizing this relationship more, as I said I've done nothing but prioritize this relationship. We argued about it, but he apparently thinks I can just put her down as she's old anyways. I was furious at this, and I told him there was absolutely not happening, and I would never sell her. He said that any reasonable person would sell or put down their horse in favor of their boyfriend, and the only reason I wouldn't is because I only hang out with the other insane horse people. So I come to you, reasonable people of Reddit. Am I the asshole? Wow. Oh my God. I think I would literally decapitate somebody. Like, okay, any men out there, if there happens to be any men listening to this that are not horse guys, let me make this very clear for you that the horse will always, forever come before you. They always will. They are more important than you. And your girlfriends know that. So, if you happen to be dating a horse girl, she knows that. I think this guy is extremely heartless. I don't know how you could suggest something like that, especially knowing that this girl has been riding for years upon years. When she got this horse when she was 12, it sounds like, or very young. So she's had this horse a long time. This horse is old. And it sounds like this girl does spend a lot of time at the barn, so I imagine she doesn't have any other hobbies or many other hobbies. So this is her therapeutic way of you just being creative, riding, spending time with her horse. It's her therapy. Just like some people draw, some people color, some people read books as their therapy. This is her hobby that she finds enjoyment in, and the fact that you think you are so much more important than the things that make her happy, screw you, dude. And I think if this relationship doesn't work out, then it would be a benefit to this girl, because if it starts with this guy being jealous of you spending time with your horse, imagine all of the other things he's going to get jealous of. He's going to get jealous of you spending too much time at your parents' house or spending too much time at your best friend's house. He's going to get jealous of you being at work too long or not wanting to go out to eat when you get home. Like, there's going to be all these other things because he obviously thinks that he is more important than everything else in your life. And I understand wanting somebody to make time for you. Totally get that. Me and Thomas make time like once a week maybe to have a date night or to go out to eat together sometime, and we talk about our weeks and whatever. But Thomas does not think that my world revolves around him all of the time. He knows that I have these animals and I'm responsible for these animals. Nobody else is. They're not going to feed themselves. They're not going to water themselves. They're not going to fix their own fence. Like, I have to do that. I have to take care of them because I am their caretaker. So it's not negotiable. And yeah, I don't know. I would say screw this guy. He obviously has some growing up to do and is very self-centered. And as far as his family, I'm sure they don't have the whole story, but clearly they have enabled him to be that way. We do have an edit. So I'm going to read the edit. So I never expected this to get as much attention as it did. I'm very overwhelmed and thankful for all your kind comments and messages. I'm currently sitting with Lady in her stable crying my eyes out because this has been such a wake-up call for me. My boyfriend left to visit his family and friends in his old town earlier today before I posted. So for everyone worried, all is well for now and I will handle this ASAP. First, I need to go home and sleep. Thank you all for being wonderful. I am going to read some comments. Not the asshole. As others stated, you need to reconsider your time with this person. Be careful. It sounds like he's trying to isolate you from the things that you love and in turn your friends. It's stage 1 and will continue until it becomes physical. Not the asshole. It sounds like the choice is between your horse and your boyfriend, and I would choose the horse. He's pretty entitled of your boyfriend to assume that he can just come in and think he's instantly more of a priority than your pet / hobby / responsibility / family member. Not the asshole. Drop 150 pounds of asshole and keep the horse. Not the asshole, but he sure is. Lady is your responsibility. I read your post and actually feel sad for Lady getting less attention and exercise because this guy is demanding you change for him. I recommend dropping him and spending more time at the stables. Maybe you'll meet somebody there who understands your love for horses. Not the asshole. Sell the boyfriend, not the horse. So I think obviously the comments agree. Dump him. Dump him. You'll find better. Okay. Let me see here. Thought I had one more in here, but I need to check. Oh, I didn't send it all the way. We'll save this one for next time. All right, guys. So this has been a pretty long episode so far, and I have several other ones, but we're going to save those ones for next week. But I really liked this segment, and I'm hoping that sometime I could have a guest on and we could chat a little bit more and have like a conversation. I'm thinking maybe me and my friend Melanie are going, I think we're going to go to the Iowa Horse Fair. So maybe while we're there, she'll film an episode or two with me, but we'll see. But yeah, I had a good time with these ones. These were some good ones. And if you have a scenario like this, leave it down in the comments below. I'd really love to hear those. And if you guys ever have a situation like this or a story that you'd like read, leave it down in the YouTube comments. I think it would be great sometime to read your guys' comments or your situations in an episode. But for now, I think that's gonna do it. But thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Also, make sure to let me know your opinion on my situation with this stupid puzzle picture and what you think, if we're being the assholes or not. But anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to check out the description before you go and subscribe if you haven't. You'll find my social media, my buy me a coffee, and all that stuff down in the description box below. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye.